Hi, it's Bowman here and welcome to episode 4 of my series Funk Faves. Today we're looking at a band called Parcels and their track Comedown. If you haven't heard this before, have a little listen to this. Parcels are a band I hadn't heard of before, but when I put a request on my channel a few months ago asking for ideas for this series, I think it was Dan O'Connor and made the suggestion of Parcels, and I went and checked them out and really got into them. So they are a band from Australia, although I believe they're now based in Berlin, but they've been putting out some really great music. I'm not exactly sure what genre you would describe it as, but there's a lot of funky stuff in there and some other great influences. Check out their live album, which was recorded in the Hansa studio in Berlin. There's some really good stuff on there, and there's a video that goes along with it on YouTube so you can watch them playing it. 2 guitars, so we will be looking at both guitar parts. What I really like about this track, Comedown, other than the fact that it's very catchy, is there's a lot of octave playing going on. It's not something we've looked at too much so far, but it's a great tool to use in funk playing, and you'll see some great examples in this song. There's also a really funky little solo in here, which I've transcribed and put in for you as well. So there's lots to learn here, lots of ideas that you can take and reapply, even if you haven't heard the band or the song. Do check them out, because I think we'll be hearing a lot more of them in the future. If you do enjoy the video, please give it a like and make sure you subscribe to my channel. There are also links below to my Facebook and Instagram pages. It would be great to have you following me on there. There's also a link to a donations button. Get yourself a copy of the PDF tab from the link below as well, so you can play along with this. And any questions, just let me know. Okay, let's zoom in and we'll get started. Okay, so this song is broken down into a couple of main sections. 2 guitar parts, as I said, so we'll look at both guitar parts for both sections, and then we'll also have a look at the solo. In terms of the key of this song, I'm in my mind thinking it as D minor, or even D Dorian, so D minor with a B instead of a B flat. Pretty much the chords, D minor, C and G in various parts. So in terms of the tonality, it is pretty much C major. No sharps or flats, but I would say the tonal centre to me sounds a bit more D minorish, especially in the verses. So certainly in the solo section I'm thinking of D minor pentatonic, but we'll look at that when we get to it. And the main thing about this song is this octaves. The other guitar is doing some great accompaniment to that. So if you haven't done this before, let me quickly explain, so you can get the hang of this and start practicing it. Usually when you're playing octaves, the 2 notes will be 2 strings apart. So if you're playing the octaves here on your G string and your E string, you've then got the B string in the middle. So you can either pluck both strings like that, so you don't hit the B string. But when we're playing something like this with a bit of funk and rhythms going on, you need to be able to mute that string in the middle. It's very common if you think the Start Celebration by Kool and the Gang. Octaves. So, great technique to get under your belt. Something you can practice just doing some strumming with. So if you're doing it on the G string and the E string, think of it as being 4 frets apart. Your first finger, then 4 frets up, 1, 2, 3, 4, and on your top E string. So that's the shape. You can move it up and down, always getting an octave. It's exactly the same on the D and the B strings. This time you need to be muting your G string when you're strumming it. You don't want that running through. When you get to your bottom strings, so your A and your D, only 3 frets apart. So on your bottom strings they're not as far apart. So you have your first finger and then it's only 2nd fret, 3rd fret, and then 2 strings across D. So So on your A string, first finger, G string, the 7th fret, the 3rd finger. Again, you're going to be muting the D string, and exactly the same on your bottom string, bottom E, and your D string, muting your A string. So when you're thinking of octaves, it's a great thing to be able to put to a melody just to kind of expand it, make it sound a bit fuller. If your root note is on your bottom 2 strings, think 1, 3. If it's on your D or your G string, think 1, 4 in terms of fingering. And then you can't really go wrong. You can do that anywhere up and down the neck. So you pick a note up here and play the octave to it. There's 2 strings down and 4 frets. Play a note here, 2 strings across and 3 frets down. So that's pretty much octaves. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but this can sound really cool. You can put them in with anything, some single note lines, then put some octaves in. It's certainly used a lot in funk and it sounds really good, as it does in this song. So let's take a look at the first section. Okay, one easy way to think about this is just think of the melody first without worrying about the octaves. So if we just think the top half of the melody, so ignore the bottom half of the octave. So we're starting on the 15th fret on your B string, 15th fret on your E, 13th, 12th, down to the 10th, back up to the 13th. There's that first bar. Rhythm wise, it's quite staccato, there's quite some rest in there and it's quite clipped when you're playing it. So add the octaves, so that would be then 12th fret on your D string, the first one, and then 12th fret on your G string, 15th fret, and then you're going to move it down. Slide that up if you want. Like that. Next part, that is the melody, and we're just adding the octave. Now we're all on the G and the top E string, so we don't have to worry about switching strings here. So we're going 13 and 10, 12 and 9, 10 and 7, 8 and 5, and then back up. Like that. So, sounds quite easy. The problem with this is doing it at speed. This is quite a fast track. It's quite difficult to make sure you're hitting the right note. It's a lot harder when you've got the 2 fingers to think about. So take it slowly and practice it and build up the speed. The next part of the melody, 13, 12, 10, 12, 13, 10 on your top E string. Again, you just got to watch the rhythm. Those last 2, it's a bit of a jump from the 10th fret, 10th and 13th down to the 7th and 10th. So to do that at speed and get that jump and not get to the wrong fret takes a bit of practice. Slide it down. And then finally on these top strings we go so 8, 10, 12, 10, 8, 10, 12, adding the octave. Like that. Okay, and then we're going to move across to the A and the G strings and go 12, 14, 12, 10, 12. So with the octave, the 12th fret is going to be on 10th fret of your A string. And then we're going to add a top E string, 10th fret. Put a couple of scratches in. So do it twice, and then the last time just goes up. So you're playing 3 different octaves, and then you're adding that 10th fret. Again, it's quite quick, so you don't want to take everything off the way I've been doing it and the way I can see him kind of doing it in the video. Leave them there, and just bar across and hit the 10th fret on the top E string. So like that. And that's kind of the opening section, which comes back a few times. Let me play it all slowly for you. repeats a few times in the song. The only difference is, in the repeats it adds a little bit when we do the... puts in those two stabs, the 7th and 10th on your top two strings, so... Okay, so that's the first guitar part. The second guitar part is playing something very similar, but it's a great little accompaniment to it. So it's playing, to start off with, is the first part of it. So it's pretty much G. So this is like, we've already got the 2 octaves here, G and the G. He's now adding a 3rd G down here, so down another octave. So we've kind of got 3 octaves going on here, playing pretty much the same thing. So again, keep it staccato and get those rests in. So starting in your D string, 5, 5, 3, 2, down to your A string, 5, back up 2, 3. Bit of palm muting going on as well, keep it nice and crisp. The next part, 3rd fret, 2nd fret on your D, then 5th fret to the 3rd fret, back to the 5th on your A string, back to the 2nd fret on your D, finishing up on the 5th on your A. So, and then, so 3, 2, 5, 2, 3, 5, and then we've got a double stab. So this first time round he's the only one doing it, but like I said later on, you're adding it on the other guitar part as well. So we've got that bit, and then we're going to move up to the 7th fret on your D string. So it's 7, 9, 10, 9, 7, 9, 10 on your D string. That's what the top guitar's playing, he's playing. So it's kind of adding an harmony. So it's a nice little accompaniment, adding a different note, adding the 6th. So we've got that as the C, C down here, 6 notes up is that A. So it's kind of adding the 6th below it. And then we keep playing the same kind of pattern. So as the other guitar's going, we're going to be going like that. So this is 9th, 10th, down to the 7th, to the 9th, all on your D string, and then hit the octave here, 10 and 12 on your A and G strings. So, and the final time, just like that. Again, put a few scratches in there, have a listen, get it all funky, nice palm muting, nice and clipped. It sounds as a really good accompaniment. But I would imagine it's the other part that everybody's going to want to play. So then we go to the verse section. So the first guitar is playing like that, and the other guitar is playing the same rhythms, but down here. So first guitar 7 and 9, and then adding the 10th fret, and then this little 9, 7, 9, 10, 7, 9 at the end of it, at the end of the lick. Okay, the other one, 8th and 10th fret on your A string, up to the 12th fret. So 10, 8, 10, 12, 8, 10 is that matching riff on the A string. So essentially, again, they're playing a harmony like that. But each guitar's playing a separate part, and it sounds really good together. So that kind of repeats through the verse section, and then it goes back into the octaves. Have a listen to the song. There's a couple of parts where the guitar drops out and it's just the keyboards and the bass and drums and the vocals, and then there's bits where either that verse section or the octave section comes in. Okay, so some great little ideas in there that you can take in terms of the octave playing, but also some of those funky rhythms and funky lines that they're playing. Especially when you think of two guitars. If any of you are playing in bands where you have another guitarist, it's the kind of thing you can sit together and work out what sounds good together so you're not clashing. And the way that they're putting little harmonies together there, so playing the root note and the third above, the minor third, or a sixth above, or the octave, is ways that you can both be playing something to make it sound good in your songs. Okay, the only other bit really to look at is the solo, which I think sounds pretty cool. When I first heard it, I thought, wow, this sounds really complicated, but when I actually broke it down and transcribed it, a lot of it is just kind of your fairly standard pentatonic Dorian kind of licks, but it's the rhythm that makes it sound really interesting. And this is something which I stress a lot with my pupils. You can play the same licks as everybody else, but if you start playing around with the rhythm, it's going to sound completely different, and you can make it sound unique, you can make it sound just that little bit different. And I think the rhythm in this is really cool. Again, it's very clipped, muted notes and palm muting going on. So have a listen to how he's playing this. So this is the live version, the solo on the live version. It's quite similar to the studio version, but I actually like the feel of it a bit better on this live version. So we'll quickly go through it, starting off like that. So think of that D minor pentatonic, and then we're occasionally going to be adding an E into it, from the minor scale or the Dorian scale, which is the second. So starting off here on the E, 12, 13. 12 on your top E, 13 on your B string. 10, 10 on the same two strings. But they're very clipped and there's rest in between. They fall on the beat, so it's 1 E and a 2 E and a, like that. So think how if we were playing rhythm, you might play that as a, that kind of rhythm. Exactly the same rhythm, but you're applying it to your solo playing here. That rhythm continues, and we go 13, 12 on your B and G strings. Then a bit of a scratch, and then 10, 10 on your G string. So that first part, slide into it. Nothing particularly earth-shattering there in terms of the note choice. Sounds very good, I have to admit, but the rhythm just immediately catches your attention. And then we have this little lick. Goes a bit like that. So again, think of a D minor pentatonic. We're putting this E note in here on the 9th fret as well. It's all 16th notes. 12, 10, 12 on your G, 10 on your B, 12 on your G, 10, 12. So that's quite a typical little blues thing. But then we're going to go the 9th fret. Rest, 9, 12, then on your D string. And then we've got some rest in between here to give it a bit of syncopation. It's 10, 12, 12 on your A string, and then 12 on your D, 12 on your A. So it's that last little part. The first part is all 16th notes, but then we mix it up with some rests. That sounds quite funky. And then we're going to move down. Here. So 5th fret on your B string, down to your 3rd fret, 5th twice more, a rest, and then 5 on your B to 7. So you notice they're the same notes. I've fingered like this because I believe that's what I can see him playing on the video. And it just gets you back into the next part. If you don't want to do that, you could just go play that D where you want to. And then we have this little lick. And we're definitely using a bit of D Dorian here. So your D minor scale would be D Dorian, has the major 6th in it. That's what we're using here. So a little hammer-on pull-off, 5th to the 6th fret and back on your B string. And then all 16th notes, 7 on your G, 5, 6, 8 on your B, 5, 8, 7 on your top E. And then a rest, then we go 10th fret on your E and B strings, and then 8th fret on your E and B strings, with rests in between. So, like that. Again, just really cool rhythm going on here, that syncopation. Then we go into what is maybe the most complex lick in the solo. Starting off again, it's around this pentatonic with the E on the 9th fret of your G string. So first bit, 12, 10, 12 on your B string, and then 10 on your B string, 12 on your G, 10 on your G. So same rhythm on both. 1 E and 2 E and then we have this little run to finish the bar. Starting on the 12th fret of your D, 9, 10, 12 on your G string, and then jump back across. Bit awkward this. Back to the D, 12th fret. Back to the 9th fret on your G, 10th fret, to 12th fret on your D string. And then 10, 12 on your D and A, 9, 10 on your D and A, 9, 8. Finish up with 2 10s on your A string. So that last part, let's put it all together. Sounds like that. But again, on the record, it's pretty fast. There's a little bit of a, just like a few times in the song, just a scratchy slide, and then we've got a nice pentatonic run. And back into the octaves. Okay, so again, thinking we D pentatonic, I'm going to start off with this little triplet hammer on 10, 11, 10 on your A string, down to the 13th fret on your bottom E, then 10, 11, 12 on your A string, 10, 12, 10, 12 on your D and Gs, then slide up to the 14th, 13, 15 on your B string, 13, 15, 17 on your top E string. That's how I've done it. You could take it up, instead of moving up to the 14th fret there, you could play that note there, 13th fret, and then move up to the 15th. If you really wanted to, you could play it like that. So play it however is most comfortable for you. The way I've written it, that's how I tend to play those things, tend to slide up on the G string. So that lick, back into the octave section again, and we keep on going round. So the rhythm, I'm not going to go through the second guitar part on that, but have a look at it yourself. It's using some of the themes that he's already been playing in the verse and the intro, but there's a couple of parts where it kind of syncs up with what the solo's playing, which is pretty cool. So have a listen to the song. I really recommend these guys. There's some great stuff on there. Check them out, but have a lot of fun learning this and reapplying some of these ideas. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon with some more funk faves.